everybody. This is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show, talking about episode number 90. 600 Montanans speak for the country. Recorded on Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. Tonight's topics: the TikTok bans begin, and an old name resurfaces. Stick around, it's a pretty darn good episode. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
And I'm Ryan McAllister.
So, tonight I want to start out with a little bit of news. Basically, after almost 2 years, we haven't grown at all, and I think some of that has to do with video episodes only being available on Spotify. So, sometime very soon, I'm going to actually put this onto YouTube. I've got to set up a page for it still, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully that'll grow the audience. Something that I'm thinking of doing when it comes to this is maybe not necessarily changing the format. I think the weekly show will be this format. Where we pick 3 topics and just go off about them without doing any kind of research whatsoever, because that makes it more fun. But what I'm thinking of doing is maybe having some specials. I've gotten into photography, as some know, and a friend of mine who's been on the show, Dave, he's very big into photography, and he's actually very good. And I've thought about maybe having him on to just have a discussion about photography. If you Ryan, if you have somebody who you want to just have on occasionally as a special to talk NASCAR or something like that, I'm certainly not opposed to that. Or
I would, but the one person outside my family I talk NASCAR with is always working.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been able to keep up with the races lately.
Yeah, and the other, it doesn't have to be limited to NASCAR.
Obviously.
My thoughts are, if we can just grow things on, as specials. Maybe, you're getting into doing D&D with your friends. Maybe, maybe they'd want to have a discussion about it or something. Just something different. Just as a little extra. We'll see how it goes. But that'll be coming sometime soon. I'm not going to say it's going to happen immediately because, well, the weather's getting nicer, and it means there's things to do, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully that'll grow the audience so that maybe we get some interaction. Who
I
knows?
doubt it.
Well, I think possibilities are a lot bigger once on YouTube than they are on Spotify. You don't have to be a Spotify member to actually watch the video. At least I don't think you do. But it's completely possible that you do. Who knows? But as we move forward, we'll be looking into ways to maybe have better video. I think our audio is pretty good, but
I think so too.
Who knows? There's all kinds of possibilities out there. Yeah, but I wanted to start the episode off with that. It's kind of what's coming. Once I actually get things set up on YouTube for us, I'll make sure to drop the link in show notes and announce it. And I'll also put it on our Facebook page. Not that anybody pays attention to that, but
No.
I think the poll that I put out there asking people 2 weeks ago if they were interested in us being on YouTube, that didn't get any response. And then last week when I posted on Facebook, I asked if, I said, let me know if you're interested in this being on YouTube, and I didn't get any response. I think that kind of says, okay, we're not getting any response because people just aren't watching or listening through Spotify.
Yeah.
So we'll try something else, and hopefully we can grow. I'm not saying I want this to be some kind of huge thing,
If
but
it did, it'd be nice.
yeah, yes and no. I mean, the biggest problem there is you spend all your time, replying to comments and whatnot, and
Not necessarily.
you know, I,
You don't have to reply to comments.
yeah, but if we've been asking for interaction, and if we get
Mm-hmm.
interaction, you kind of got to respond to it and be interactive.
Yeah, but you don't have to reply to all of them, especially
Yeah,
if you're a bigger content creator.
yeah, but I don't foresee us becoming huge, anyhow, and
Neither
I
do
don't
I,
I don't
but
necessarily
you never
want to
know.
be, but you know I'd like enough interest and enough interaction to make it worthwhile to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm really looking at moving us over to YouTube, and it's not going to be over to YouTube exclusively. I'm gonna
Yep.
I've got everything set up on Spotify. I'm gonna continue with Spotify. It's
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason to stop. I mean, it doesn't cost me anything to be here, so what the heck, we'll go with it. So, at any rate, what do you say we get into our first topic?
Which one is first?
All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I had talked about the federal government looking at putting a ban on TikTok.
Yep. They've been
And
trying for a couple of years now, I believe.
well, yeah, they've been trying, and in the episode I said, hey, I have no problem with them banning it on federally owned devices.
Yeah.
Completely get that. There's potential security risk there. Got it. And it's not a personal device, it is a federally owned device, which
Mm-hmm.
means you should not be putting personal things on there. Plain and simple. That's all there is to it. So I understand that. What I don't
Yeah.
understand is them telling somebody like me, hey, you can't use TikTok.
A private citizen.
Yeah. And I get their concern. They're saying, "Oh, well, the Chinese government's taking your information." Well, you know what? So is Google, so is Microsoft, so is Apple, so is Facebook. They're all doing it. They're all taking our information. So why
They
aren't
are.
why aren't you banning these companies just
Because they're
because
not
they're American?
Chinese.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm on TikTok, what the hell is China going to do with my information? I mean, it's not like I'm some kind of, big time. I mean, I'm not way up in government or anything. I'm not the president of the U.S. or something.
Mm.
I mean, come on. What are they going to do? Well, he went for a bike ride around Oneida Lake again.
Again.
you know, I mean,
That's the 15th time this week.
yeah. So anyhow, back to the topic. So the state of Montana has decided that they are going to ban
Maybe the Chinese
TikTok.
government is the real world record keepers,
Yeah,
not Guinness.
yeah. But you know, Montana has now signed. I believe they've actually signed it into law within Montana that TikTok is illegal. Which all I can think of is,
How are you gonna enforce that?
yeah, how are you going to enforce that? Because all I have to do is on my cell phone go close to the border of Montana where
Whether
my
whether it's the
cell phone,
Wyoming border
well,
or the Idaho border or
or,
whatever
or
other
even the
borders
Canadian
Montana
border, it
has.
doesn't matter. As soon as I get closer to a cell tower in a different state or someplace outside of Montana, I could be standing in Montana using TikTok, and you can't do a thing about it.
Yep, you
But beyond
can't.
that, how are they going to enforce it if I have TikTok on my device and I go to Montana? They can't.
Are they gonna arrest me?
They would have to have a warrant to search my phone. They'd have to have a warrant to force me to unlock my phone and to search it because my phone is password protected. Therefore, I don't have to tell them what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the law, folks. You know, I mean, yes, I have a fingerprint, but I can also set it up very quickly and easily so that the fingerprint doesn't work until I unlock it with my password. So, guess what?
Hmm.
At any rate, so they're jumping into this bandwagon of let's control things, and you know, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but guess what, folks? This
This
is
is government censorship.
yes, this is censorship. This is them telling you what you can and can't do as far as your own entertainment.
This is not censorship in the way that the political right says, like organizations like PragerU say, where Facebook is censoring them. That's a private company. They're allowed to censor you. This is the government.
Yeah, private company can do what they want within the
State
limits of the
government
law.
cannot do what they want.
Yep, yep. So, this is, I said it was coming, and guess what? Here it's coming. You know, this is just the first step in the process. The federal government is still looking to do it. I can
Hmm.
bet that other states are going to do it.
I can bet that it's on both sides of the aisle too.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And
I kind of think that this is an old people versus young people thing.
it could be,
And
when,
by old people, I don't mean your age. I mean, I think
well,
people, I
yeah,
think politicians your age and younger are the ones defending TikTok here.
yeah, maybe not my age, but
I think so.
the way I'm looking at it is more along the lines of when YouTube and Facebook first started, there wasn't any kind of thoughts that your data was going someplace,
Yep.
and there wasn't any, they didn't know how to react. And well, they got so big that they couldn't control them. But
Mhm.
now, TikTok is a fairly new startup, and they're thinking, well, now we can control them, but I just don't see it working out. I truly
No,
see that
because you
this is
can't,
going to
you
push things.
cannot. There is no way to enforce this.
No, I mean what they're going to do is they're going to try and force Apple and Google to take TikTok out of their markets, out of
Their
their
App
app
Store,
stores.
the Google Play Store.
Yeah, that's what they're going to try to do. And unfortunately, they're a single state is not going to be able to do it. If the federal government said that they had to do it, they wouldn't really have a choice because the federal government could take away their license to operate within the country.
Mhm.
But you can't take away Google's license to operate within Montana.
No, you can't.
It's a single state, and this goes beyond a single state. But
It's a state with not a lot of people in it either.
yeah, it's a fairly low population, but it's I don't know. I really truly think it's just the start of it. You know,
Mhm.
but as far as age, I think what it really comes down to is people who they really don't want the competition, and I think part of what the push is behind this,
I
honestly,
think
is
it's
Facebook.
what I think it is old people not understanding social media and wanting social media in general gone. Pe- People who just don't like China and want to stop anything Chinese. And forgot if there was a third. I thought there was going to be a third thing, but I don't think I have a third thing.
Yeah, I really think that Facebook is pretty solid behind this anti TikTok campaign. Because
And that's because they want less competition.
well, it's not just that they want less competition. It's that TikTok is true competition. And I would not be surprised if YouTube is not behind this as well, because YouTube is it's the biggest source of videos on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
More people watch videos on YouTube than on anything else.
Yep.
Plain and simple. That's all there is to it. You get younger generations like
I cha-
your
I
brother,
challenge
you
any of our
watching.
audience members to name another video sharing site
There are
that
some.
they've watched a video on.
DTube. I actually
Hmm?
DTube. I actually posted something on there. Didn't get anything, so I didn't bother again.
Figures.
But
Because nobody uses it.
actually, it's not that nobody uses it. Um, I think what part of the problem is you get like this virtual coin, and
Oh
you have to
god, not a
spend.
crypto scam.
It's not scam. You have to spend this stuff to post. It costs you some of those coins, and the way you get them, the way you build it up is I can't even remember now. It's been so long. But basically, you get a lot of views and you get coins,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mostly based on people donating their coins to you.
That's weird.
I tried
It's
it
a
and I was like, yeah,
very
okay,
funky system.
yeah, it was a real pain. So I said, yeah, that's all right. I'm done. I'm not gonna bother. But
The only other video sharing sites I can think of are Vimeo, VidMe, and Dailymotion.
yeah,
None of
there's
them I've ever watched, but I've heard of them.
yeah, I think there's some other ones that are more aimed at people doing like an artistic type of thing.
Yep.
More along the lines of actual movies. Where
Hmm.
YouTube's focus is really on personal videos, kind of like I
Yeah.
post with my with my dirt bike rides or with anything else. It's personal stuff.
Hmm.
It's not made to be professional. It's not. Some
Yeah.
people do it as
I mean, their
some people
slogan
do.
used to be "Broadcast yourself,"
Yeah, you know.
and I think that was a fantastic slogan, and they should bring it back.
But so I personally think that YouTube, but more so Facebook, are really truly behind this push, and it's sad because it's money that's preventing people from starting something new. If I
Yeah.
if TikTok was American based, it still wouldn't matter. Facebook doesn't want the competition, so they're going to
Hmm.
push hard. They're going to use their billions of dollars of net value to shove all kinds of money at all of these elected officials. Under the table, of course, because that's illegal to influence them.
Yeah. Illegal.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations is of it's only illegal if you get caught.
Yep. But isn't that every law though?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much, but this more than anything else.
Except for politicians, they're above the law,
Yeah, yeah.
especially the president, according to Richard Nixon. That is.
Well, speaking of politicians and former presidents, well, sort of former presidents, I see you actually added a topic. What you got?
Yeah. Yeah. I stumbled upon this actually when I went searching for topics for the first time ever, and I found that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of former President Kennedy, who recently announced his presidential bid against Biden in the Democratic primary, he is currently polling, he is backed by 14% of Biden voters, which is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the surprising part about this is that this man is most famous for being an anti-vaxxer and claiming that vaccines cause autism.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge back in the 70s. That's why a lot of people my age, around my age, never got vaccinated, and
Mm-hmm.
why a lot of people that are slightly older than me didn't live very long. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there were a couple of cases where people got, they got autism. There was not necessarily any kind of link between the autism and the vaccine, but it was freedom, man. I want my freedom. So that was the push, and I don't know. But anyhow, that'd be pretty interesting if Biden actually. So has Biden actually stated that he's running again?
He's he said multiple times that the plan is to run again, but he hasn't made it official or anything.
Yeah. So I
And according to this same article from USA Today, where I got this from, only 67 of Biden's 2020 supporters said they would support him again for the nomination.
67
67.
out of how many?
67%.
Oh, okay.
So that's 67 out of 100.
Okay. You just said 67. You didn't say 67%.
I said percent.
No.
No, I said percent.
No. You said 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, truthfully, it's not that he's done a horrible job. I mean,
He hasn't.
and I've said before, it's not that Trump did a horrible job.
Again, he didn't
They're
until COVID.
they're typical politicians. That's all there
Well,
is to
Trump
say
isn't.
about it. Yeah, but he still acted as a typical politician.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just his lies were easy to spot.
And more obvious.
Well, that goes right along with being easy to spot. I mean,
Well, yeah.
he was a little over the top with them. Where most politicians
Everything about him is over the top.
yeah, most politicians like Biden, they
There's a reason
double
they
talk
call him
enough.
the loudest man in the world.
Yeah. You get most politicians like Biden, they double talk enough so that it's difficult to actually catch the lie.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Biden
other,
is your average politician.
yeah, the other thing with Trump though
Hell, I
is,
think I could look up politician in the dictionary and see a picture of Joe Biden's face as the definition.
yeah, but it's some of the problem with Trump was that so many people did not want him there, that
Mm-hmm.
fact checkers were out in they were out in droves when he was president. You know,
They were
whereas with
desperate to show
yeah,
that
yeah, and
they were more focused on catching his lies
yeah, they were
more
so
than any other
focused on
president.
catching his lies and showing that he was a bad choice that
Mm-hmm.
that's all you
Immediately
heard
after
about.
they did the opposite for Obama, it seems.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, most of the time there isn't nearly as much research done to fact check a president as there
Mm-hmm.
was with Trump.
Yep.
You know?
Although the media did hammer Bush Jr. and Clinton at the same level.
Yeah, yeah, because Clinton was all about just making sure his name got out there. And he wanted to be in history, and that's really all he cared about. He didn't care about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I don't know. I mean,
I've never seen a media hate a president as much as they hated Trump.
yeah, and the worst part is, they hated him before he was even in office and before he had even done anything. So that's really the bad part. Is they hated
They
him.
didn't hate him until he
Period.
went after Obama.
Yeah, but I don't know. So that would be pretty interesting. If he's got 14% already. And that's
Yep,
significant, and that's something that
that
Biden's going to have
is.
to really consider and think about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the potential is what he's waiting for as far as announcing. He might be waiting to see if another solid Democratic candidate comes up.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that that's why he hasn't announced, because he's going to run only if there isn't a strong candidate that could win. You know,
Only if nobody else can win.
yeah, yeah, because based on his health and in the way that he walks and looks, I really don't think, I don't think he would survive another, long enough
I
for
don't think so
4
either.
years, and I think he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he's so devoted to his party that I
That
think
he
he will
thinks that
run
he
if,
might be the only option.
yeah, yeah. And somebody like this going in, and I mean, how long ago did he announce? This is the first I'd heard he announced.
Kennedy?
Mm-hmm.
Um, let me look
Did you say it
here.
was like
Let's
2 weeks
see.
ago or something like that?
Um, April 6th, it says.
Yeah, so that was just over
A
two
couple
weeks
weeks ago.
ago, and he's already got 14%. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely significant, unless all they did was pull Massachusetts or New England in general. If they didn't go broadly across the country, well,
The
that.
poll was taken by landline and cell phone of 600 Biden voters, identified from national and state polls.
So they talked to 600 people.
All across the country. This is not just New England.
Yeah, but still, this I'm pretty sure that we had talked once about the stupidity of these opinion polls. You know,
I mean, yeah.
600 people is supposed to represent the entire voting population of the United States. And more than likely, someplace in there, they put in plus or minus 2%.
Mm,
you know, it's just
it doesn't
ridiculous.
say that, though.
It's utterly ridiculous. I mean, come on, people.
A lot of people probably said they'd support Kennedy just because of his name.
Yeah, and
They probably don't
that's
even know his beliefs about vaccines.
that's kind of why I said it's kind of why I said if this was focused only in New England, then it's not very real.
Yeah.
Because the Kennedys are huge. I mean, if he runs in any of the New England states for governor, he's gonna win because of his
Mm-hmm.
name. But you know, I don't know. I mean, what has he done politically? I
Nothing.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't hear of him
He's
until
just a
now.
lawyer and a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
and honestly, the conspiracy theorist might actually be a you know be a boost for him, because that's half of how Trump has
That
kept any
might get him the
support.
Republican voters.
Yeah, but that's the biggest way that Trump has kept support, is with all the conspiracy theories that
Yep,
he and his team push. You know, it's really unfortunate that so many people believe it, but
it is.
can't do much about that. Can only control our own beliefs and our own thoughts. But
Yep.
civilized discussion is the way to fix things. Unfortunately, the because of what's happened due to Trump, as far as the polarization of the country, civilized conversation about politics is really out the door. I mean, it's not
Mm-hmm.
that it was overly civilized before, but it's worse now than it
Mm-hmm.
ever
It
was.
is so much worse.
And honestly, it's not going back. The only way it's going to go back is when the divisions that have started within each party continue, and they split the party apart into, you know, I think that may end up
If we
happening.
have both parties going to civil war with each other.
Yeah, and that's very possible that it will happen,
If
that
the
they
normal
do.
if the normal Republicans and the Trump Republicans split, and the normal Democrats split with the Bernie Sanders wing, then that's what will end polarization.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and
The two-party duopoly ending is the only way we can end this polarization.
yeah, and unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. You know, it's been
Nope.
tried multiple times because it's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I keep saying that Ross Perot had the money to do it, but even he couldn't.
Yeah, he was a little crazy. But oh well, folks. I'm sure you've heard the music starting up in the background.
Holy crap! Already?
Yeah,
We've only gotten 2 topics.
yeah.
Well, I guess good night.
We'll see ya.